Hey everybody, welcome back to the Doggone Positive Way, where we're talking about future-proofing your puppy. And this little girl right here, her name is Penelope. She is in New York. She is a family member's puppy. They just got her on Saturday. And isn't she adorable? She's 11 weeks old. Jack Russell, you know I love Jack Russells. With her little nose, she's so cute. And she is definitely giving them a run for their money for sure. And she's 11 weeks old. So anyway, good luck to you guys up there. I know that you're doing a great job. She's got an older sister named Remy, who is an Anatolian Shepherd mix. And I'll have to show you guys the video maybe next one. She's just like jumping on her and everything, and Remy's being such a good dog, just teaching her the things that humans can't teach. So anyway, so I wanted to talk to you about socializing and unleashing the potential intelligence that your dogs have. I mean, they are so smart, and you have no idea what's laying beneath their cute little eyes like this one. So we're going to talk about the social periods, when to start training, why, and it's important, and who, and where to go, and what types of things to socialize your puppy to, and just kind of go from there. All right. So basically, when our puppies are, before we get them, most people get them around 8 weeks of age. Some more recently, I've seen people getting the puppies later, especially if they're getting them from a breeder. So yay for breeders for keeping them with, the mom and potentially dad for that time period and their litter mates, because it's really important that they are socialized very well. Now, I'm hoping that the breeder is doing all the socialization things that we're going to talk about. But when the breeder has them, and before we get them, the period that I'm talking about right now, it's a very sensitive time period for them. It's about 3 weeks of age to 3 months of age. And that's a time where you want to definitely expose them to a lot of different situations. So let's talk about if you have children, if you have puppies that are that young, I mean, go for it, please. Get children in there. If you don't have children yourself, I'm hoping that breeders or people who, even if you have an accidental litter, whatever, it doesn't matter, or you're fostering. We have a lot of foster parents out there that are fostering litters of puppies, or mom and the puppies, so you guys have them from a super early age. You want to start doing these things straight away, definitely at 3 weeks of age. And some of the things are, like I was saying, with children. If you don't have children, have some of your friends come over with their children. Maybe you can do something at a park with some other parents who have children, and you can expose the puppy to children. That's very, very important. Probably not at 3 weeks of age. We're going to scrap the whole park thing. Forget I even said that. But I want you to get kids in there, okay? Invite kids over and get the puppies exposed to children, and all different ages, okay? The other things that you can do are getting your puppies exposed to different noises. Now, we've talked about noises. We've talked about dogs, puppies that are raised in rural areas, and then they come into a city and they're freaked out as an adult dog, even a young adult dog. They're really apprehensive because they don't know how to feel about these noises, whether it's traffic or sirens or, other people, other houses. Maybe you lived in an area that your houses weren't attached, but now houses are attached, or you're living in an apartment. That happens a lot. Even if you're moving, sometimes people have to rent an apartment for 6 months, until they get into the new house. Like, that's real life. So, you can drive into a city, or you can go onto YouTube. There are recordings out there, like so many different videos, different sounds, thunderstorms, fireworks. Um, those are different things that you can expose your puppy to. Now, when you get your puppy, say you do get your puppy at 8 weeks of age, so you're, just shy of that 3-month period where that sensitive period kind of closes up. And, the where you're going to expose them to everything. Now they're going to go into, at about 3 months of age, they're going to start going into another period that I feel is super critical also. And again, we're exposing them to people. You're exposing them to male ladies, male men, male people, delivery people, FedEx people, grocery delivery people, service people. Even if you live alone, you can still get that exposure going, even if it's just the male person. Teach your puppy to be happy about the male person coming and have treats. I'm so sure you guys have seen videos on YouTube with, a male person driving up and the dog is either waiting out there just wagging their tail or runs to them from the front door, and the male person is amazing because they have a box of cookies. They're smart also. They're not trying to get bit that day, so they're reinforcing them with something good. And you can do that with your puppy. Okay, so you do have that opportunity to do that. You can do different things like with the noises, especially. You can't recreate the atmospheric pressure and changes that happen during a thunderstorm, but I really think it's important to recreate some of those noises by going on to YouTube and just searching for thunderstorm and wind. Like, if you live in in the middle of the country, a tornado alley, or in Florida, like I do, with the wind going on, it's kind of scary for me when we have a hurricane blowing through and you hear that whipping wind and that whistling sound, and it's like I feel like I'm in some horror movie or something, waiting for something to crash through the window. But those are really important things. Dropping things, dropping pans, opening an umbrella. Some of these things I'm talking about are things that they do for service dog training, and puppy raisers will do this so that they can kind of see, well, is the dog scared of the umbrella opening? And if they are, that's cool, but what's their recovery time? And what I mean by that is, like, are they scared and they run away and it takes them a long time to come back? Or are they like, oh, scared, and they're like, that's all right. Let me check it out. I want to smell the umbrella. So you want your puppy to smell the umbrella. So for an example, open it and at the same time, toss some treats to the puppy. Really good treats, like something yummy, something soft. I like the Bill Jack training treats. I'm thinking about, I really like the small ones because I do a high rate of reinforcement, but man, your hands are going to get all gross and slimy. So, you can use some of the regular size ones also, or some cheese, or some low sodium hot dogs to reinforce. Let me just look at my notes here. You know, the other things that I think is really important to expose them to as far as socializing is other dogs, right? Other puppies. Let's talk about other puppies first. Hopefully your puppy was around their litter mates, but let's say they weren't, or let's say they were a singleton. That does happen on occasion. So that's a completely different situation. You have one puppy that was born to this mom, all right? I really, really want you to find a great fear-free puppy class. And fear-free means they're not using force. They're not using alpha rolls. They're not using choke chains. They're not yelling. They're not using aversives, negative things on a puppy. And they're using things like food rewards or clicker training, flat collars, or off-leash training in a controlled environment that's set up specifically for puppies, and that they're all in the same age range, which is important because, like little Penelope here, little Penelope has like razor blades as teeth right now. They will shred you. And it's important that they learn from each other during play, some of that biting and mouthing and that play fight stuff that they do, which is really low level aggression, that they are with age appropriate dogs, because you don't want an adult dog necessarily, playing with, say they don't have good bite inhibition. An adult dog doesn't have good bite inhibition, and the adult dog can injure the puppy, and the puppy has a bad experience. So, and what bite inhibition means is that the dogs have control over how hard they're going to bite or use their mouth. And we know this because we see it all the time. I've experienced it. When you play fight with your puppy, even though I tell you not to do it, it is fun, and I do, and I'm a little guilty of it. But like when you go up to your dog and you're like, ah, and they open their mouth, and they're mouthing, but they're not leaving marks, or not puncturing anything, nothing at all, barely even making contact or no contact at all. That's bite inhibition. They can pick their puppies up and move them when they're little by the scruff of their neck, and relocate them. So there's a lot of control over their mouth. So I don't want you to take a risk. If another puppy has crappy bite inhibition, it's okay, because they have puppy teeth and they will hurt the other puppy. Granted, I know, but it is puppy teeth. It's like kind of like fair play, so to speak. And then the other puppy will cry, and then hopefully the puppy that just bit the other puppy will back off. Sometimes that doesn't happen. So in a training controlled environment, your trainer should help you learn how to redirect your puppy and not have that puppy turn into just like a little terrorist of rah, 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 just going and not letting up on a puppy that is a little bit more relaxed and not like into hard play or whatever. Okay, because some puppies, just like humans, we all have different temperaments, and so do our puppies. So age appropriate teeth is important. A controlled environment. I would hope that the class has off-leash time, off-leash play time for your puppies, and that they take breaks. If it's an hour-long training, you should be taking breaks maybe every 5 to 10 minutes. Some of those breaks really need to be off-leash. That's what I love to see. That's what I did in all of the group class training puppies. They were 8 weeks to 4.5 months of age. And so they were all in that same little range. Of course, the older puppies that were like around 3.5, 4.5, obviously they're getting their adult teeth, they're are coming into their mouth. So of course you watch that as you go, and you have to use common sense. Okay. So moving on from that, after that 3-month period, they're gonna, you can still continue to socialize. You should always socialize your puppy. But they kind of go through a little bit more of like an exposure kind of fear period, where they can, if you stop exposing, say you get the puppy at 8 weeks of age, you take them to a puppy class, maybe it's like a month and a half long, so you're at like, I don't know, 4.5 months of age, 5 months, and you're like, I'm good with training, that's it, I'm done. your dog then stops getting that exposure and that positive experience around other people, other noises, and during that period can develop fear and anxiety and potentially later down the road aggression, fear aggression. So that is something that you should be really, really concerned about. I think that you definitely do your puppy class, then do an intermediate class or do another puppy class if the age is right, and do, maybe a beginner adult class, even if it's the same damn curriculum. Your dog is older, they'll be around new dogs. Um, Maybe some puppies from the puppy class that they were in will, have the same schedule and can get into the same class as you. But they need to continue their training until at least a year old. At least during that whole period, you've got sensitive times, you've got fear times, there's noise phobia, there's people phobia, it's situational. You've got to get them out and to the public and train them. Now, a big argument I would get from people is, my puppy hasn't had a full series of vaccinations. Well, by the time your puppy has had a full series of vaccinations, they typically will get their first rabies shot around 6 months of age. And that window it's done. You're done. Yes, up until a year, you continue to train up until a year. But if you haven't done jack before that, no, it's not good. You're not going to have a dog that's well adjusted. I can tell you this from personal experience, and I can tell you this from professional experience. If you don't socialize your puppy, you are setting yourself up and the puppy for failure, and we don't want to do that. We want them to be successful and happy, and your stress level way down. We got to keep our stress levels down. Life is just crazy enough, right? So also, I mean, again, and I harp on this, but it's so important. The great thing about exposing them to all these situations and all these noises, that you don't know what life is going to bring down the pike for you. Some of you know I have MS. I'm a full-time wheelchair user now. So, what would I do, if I had a puppy now? I'm definitely taking that puppy to a class. We're going to puppy classes. The puppy is going to go to a daycare of my liking, of course, that has training protocols in place. And I'm taking the puppy to as much training as possible, because, getting back to, you don't know what life is going to come down the pike at you. I did see that was a little ADHD thing, a little off track. But I had no idea, that I was going to get, diagnosed with MS in my early 30s. Who the hell knew that? I didn't sure know that. So I've had my dogs all through, my daycare and all my training classes and et cetera, et cetera. And now eventually I'm going to get a puppy, and I need to get that. I don't have my facility, right? I don't have a shop. I'm not running my daycare anymore. So I need to provide for my puppy, and I'm going to be doing the same damn thing you guys are doing. I'm going to classes. I'm going to travel with my puppy. I am going to have people come. I do have people. I'm social, so people come over a lot. But it's really important that the puppy gets exposed to everything and everyone. Okay, so remember that, and it's important because, gosh, it just makes life so much easier. Like, how much easier it was for me, especially like with Rufus and Scrapman and even Talu, as my body began to change and things were starting to happen differently in my life. It really made a difference having well-trained dogs. Trust me. Yeah, trust me. So we talked about the best place to do it. Of course, a good controlled puppy class. But where else? Where else do you think would be good? I like to say to my clients, why don't you go to your vet's office? And you just go and you sit in the lobby and then you leave. Or you can go and say, hey, and find out from them if they have a lull where you can go in and just weigh your dog. Or how's about doing some nail trimming? Um, Anything that's going to expose them and give them a positive experience at the vet while they're babies, while they're Penelope's age. Um, and as far as waiting until they have all their vaccinations, you know, dogs statistically, and I'm not a big statistic person, but honestly, I'd rather have a dog take a little bit of a risk, a puppy, an owner take a little bit of risk and go to a class. You should have at least one round of shots on board and get your puppy out there. Don't go to dog parks because you're exposing them to a lot of different diseases, a lot of different dogs. So it's not a controlled environment. Control your environment. Go to a puppy class where they do require vaccinations. At least 1, 2 rounds of vaccines should be on board when you're training your puppy. Are they all? Is it complete? Do they have their rabies? No, they don't. But if you wait until then, hello, windows close. We don't want those windows to close. Let's open the windows, unleash the potential of your puppy, and start training them. Okay. Let's see what they're good at too. Some of you might want to continue training and do agility. Or lure coursing where they chase a plastic bag, dock diving, freestyle dance, trick training. Your dog might be awesome, and you might want to pursue other things like commercials with your pet, advertising, photos. It's endless. And so if you have a well-behaved dog and you laid all this foundation down in the beginning, you have just a solid foundation of knowledge with your puppy, and I'm telling you, it's great. I loved being able to travel anywhere and everywhere with my dogs. Have them go to hotels with me, have them go on television sets with me, have them go in all different studios, radio studios, TV studios, airplanes, airports, um, trains, everything. Seriously, elevators. That's always fun. Trolleys. I've done a lot of traveling. Driving from Florida to New York, that can definitely be something that could be a big thing because with your puppy, I want you to have them on a feeding schedule so that you can stop at a rest area on the road and feed your puppy no matter what time it is, because your puppy knows that when that food bowl goes down, it's time to eat. Yeah, sure, you want to keep them on a schedule, but if life happens and you have to evacuate, or you get sick, or somebody's sick, or whatever happens, or you're just running late, or maybe you just don't feel up to it completely that day to be like right on time. Maybe you want to feed them earlier. Sometimes I feed the puppies, our dogs, Bella and Troy, at like 4 o'clock. Typically they're fed around 6, but I have a window in which that I feed them, and that's helpful because it gives me flexibility in my schedule, and they're used to it, and it's just nice to have that flexibility. And they know food bowl goes down, you eat. If you don't, Troy has done this as an adult dog, especially when we fed kibble. Oh, actually, only when we fed kibble, he would save some or not finish it because he was too preoccupied with whatever was going on out here. I feed him in the bedroom or in the bathroom, so that I've got management with him and Bella. And, he's like, I'm not going to eat it all. But, so we've got to do these things. We've got to be able to have that kind of control, really, at the end of the day. it's all about control, because life happens, and we want to try and avoid as many stressful things as possible. Something people ask me, like, oh, is it too late to socialize my dog? It's not that it's too late. It's more, well, it kind of is. If your dog is much older, it's more about teaching them how to accept different situations. You may need drug therapy and work with a veterinary behaviorist, or just ease them into it slowly, depending on the situation. I work with reactive dogs, and the reactive dog and the dog that has separation anxiety is the dog that wasn't, for separation anxiety, taught how to be alone, taught how to be crated properly. In other words, not used as punishment, using the crate as all positive things. Teaching a dog, a puppy especially, to be alone, and what that means is not reinforcing your puppy when they cry in the crate. And this is, barring that they went out and they eliminated, and you have all this information, and they really should be fine in the crate. Don't take them out when they're whining in the crate, because you're reinforcing behavior, and you're also setting them up later down the line for separation anxiety. Troy has separation anxiety. It's not fun having a dog with separation anxiety. It is not fun for them. They are destructive. They can get injured. So, we have to remember these things with our puppies, okay? So, um, let's see. What else do I want to tell you guys? And one thing that I like as a really good resource, there's some really great authors out there, veterinary behaviorists. Dr. Ian Dunbar, he's got a great puppy book. I think it's called Puppy Primer. And of course, one of my favorite veterinary behaviorists, who unfortunately is no longer with us, is Dr. Sophia Yin. And she has a book called The Perfect Puppy, How to Train Your Puppy in 7 Days. That book goes over everything almost everything we talked about. That book is very good, easy read, everything's broken down for you to just like easily apply everything in your puppy training. So check her out. It's drsophiayin.com, and look up Dr. Ian Dunbar. Just great veterinary behaviorist. So remember, stuff those Kongs and give your dogs something good to do. Give them something to play with that's appropriate. Have an amazing day, and just have a great day. And stuff those Kongs. Don't forget to do that. Give your dog a Kong. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a doggone positive day. I appreciate you. I hope you're enjoying this. Thanks again. Bye.